What's up, guys, and welcome back to Adventure Archaeology. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brandon. This is my lovely wife Miranda, and today we're out at an old creek. This creek right here runs right through the middle of what used to be a town over 100 years ago. We're hopeful today to find some valuable antique bottles, as some bottles can be worth thousands of dollars. So without any further ado, let's go see what we can find. The first find of the day is right there, and I see a marble. You grab it for me, babe?
That's a pretty one.
It's in good shape too. That is a pretty one. We'll take that for sure.
A little wave in it.
We love filling up mason jars and stuff like that.
And our daughter loves them too.
Yeah, and our daughter does love them. So I always like surprising her with a nice marble, and she plays with the ones that aren't super old. And this one right here is probably from the 30s or 40s. I'm not a marble guy, that's just strictly a guess. I know if it would have been any earlier though, it would have been one of the marbles that looks like it's either made from clay or what they call a Bennington. And the Benningtons just have a little bit more of an odd shape, and you can see where they're snapped off. It has like a little prong mark on it.
Is that the ceramic ones?
Yeah, they look like ceramic kind of. So there's a ton of different kinds of marbles out there, and that's something a lot of people don't know about, including myself. Some of them can be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
I thought I found another one. It's a snail.
It's a snail. There's a ton of people that always, when we're walking and we reach down and pick something up, they're like, hey, you missed a ring or you missed an arrowhead. And 9 times out of 10, the rings that they're seeing are pop can tops, and the arrowheads that they're seeing are leaves. We promise we may not see everything, but we're not leaving behind artifacts. It's always a really good sign when you get into the creek and you start seeing bricks, because that means that they either pushed the old buildings that were here into the creek at one point, which means the trash that would have went along with it, or there was a city or something close by for the brick to be there. It's just not going to be out in the middle of nowhere for no reason. This one looks like it was a fire brick. She sees a bottle. She can't tell if it's whole or broken yet. Is it deep?
There's a bottle right there, babe.
Is it?
Or a cup or something in the bottom of the jar.
Oh, we may have found a spot where they...
Oh, dang it, I knew it.
Oh, it's broken. That's a good whiskey glass.
Coca-Luca.
Yeah.
Coca-Luca.
So the crack comes down to right here. That's okay. That would have to be cut off anyways for this to be a whiskey glass. As long as the bottom's in good shape with no cracks,
Oh, man.
then it's a good one, and it is a good one. So right there, it'll be cut right below that crack, and this will be a really awesome whiskey glass for somebody. Good job, babe. Let's look at that bank though right there. You got me curious. I've never seen that before.
It
So
looks like thin glass. I think it might be a drinking glass or a little pepper sauce or something.
yeah, we'll have to dig that out later. That is more modern though, for sure. But probably what happened is right here, there's an old house that used to sit up there, and they just turned this into like a little trash dump area and would have dumped it right off into the water. Sadly, people didn't care back then, and it was an easy place to dispose of their trash. Hey, look at that. I walked right over top of a jug top. You see it right there?
Yeah, I sure do.
Grab it up. That'll be a good aquarium decoration. Oh, that would have been a nice early one too. You can tell how
The handle and the lip is.
yeah, the lip is a lot more shallow. It got that double ring neck. That's probably 1880s or 1890s if I had to guess. That's all right, guys. We're starting to get into some good stuff. The first whole bottle of the day. It's a National Remedy Company, New York. I believe this is what my wife found last week in an aqua variant that was just a broken panel. So we now have a complete one. That's all right, guys. That means we're following the breadcrumbs that were left behind over 100 years ago, and maybe we're on track to find a really awesome antique bottle today that's worth a little bit of money. You never know. These rock bars right here always catch usually not whole bottles, but pieces of bottles, and it's just enough to keep you going. When you look down and you see stuff like this right here, that would have been a nice cork top medicine bottle of some sort or a whiskey. You know that there's still old stuff in this particular area. Right here's an old handle that could have been off of a jug or a coffee mug. Kind of hard to say, but these things right here are like maps. You can look down and read them, and you know if you're in the right area or not. This particular creek that we're in right here is an interesting one because it's spring fed, so it clears up a lot faster after rainstorms and thunderstorms and stuff like that, and the water usually stays pretty clear. I know that there's a lot of reflectivity going on with my camera angle, but it really is a very pretty spot right here, especially with all of the trees overhanging. It's also a really cool spot because it doesn't really get any deeper than about waist deep anywhere. So you can wade this entire thing without worrying about falling into a deep spot. I'm hoping that we're getting right down here where the creek's gonna make a bit of a bend and a turn. And I'm hoping in that bend and turn area that it caught a bunch of glass. We'll just have to see though. So I got a question for you guys, the audience. If you could go anywhere in the world and hunt for any treasure, what would it be for and where would it be? I'm genuinely curious. I personally would love to go search certain areas that obviously we can't. There's a jug top over here. Like some of the Civil War battlefields, you know that they've got to be loaded with some amazing relics. In Virginia that are now protected sites. That would have been another nice jug right there. It's another double ring. Makes me think this spot right here is a little bit older. Yeah, it could have washed out of the bank right there. With that being said though, I think of all things that I would have loved to have been a part of, and it's probably not even necessarily considered a treasure hunt. I would have loved to have been part of excavating the pyramids whenever they were first discovered. And I know a lot of them were looted. I don't want to be a part of that, but I would have loved to have been one of the first few to make it into the pyramids, because I can't imagine. I mean, that's just an amazing piece of history. Still a bit of a mystery as to how they built all of that stuff too. I honestly did not know what this was whenever I first picked it up. I tried to close it, it's a hinge, and whenever I went to close it, it came loose right there. It doesn't look super old because of how thin it is. It could be from the 1930s or the 1940s. Honestly though, when I first picked it up, I really thought that it was a piece of leather and it was the top to an old shoe. Just shows you though that somebody either threw their dresser in here when they were through with it a long time ago, or possibly a flood or a tornado may have dropped it in here. That's one thing a lot of people don't think about here in Alabama, is we have so many tornadoes that loft debris from houses and homes up thousands of feet that you never know where it's going to drop. So that could have been dropped from a house that was destroyed over 50, 60, 70 years ago. You just really never know. I've been flipping these bricks over as we go. I like to keep the ones that have names on them, and this one right here has a name on it. It says C.O. Crown, so that's probably a nice early local brick. And my wife was just talking about carrying a couple of these out of here. We usually always carry the ones with the names out, and eventually I'm going to do something with them, whether it's build a mailbox or a flower bed or a walkway, something like that. And that spider right there that's dead keeps on scaring me. I keep on thinking it's crawling towards my hand. It's been squished though. That's okay. We're still on track. We're still seeing a ton of good glass, and hopefully there'll be a couple more really awesome bottles down here just waiting on us in that gigantic log jam that you see in front of us. We're gonna have to navigate through that. And hopefully we don't find any snakes along the way. All right, so my wife's been picking up nice pieces of old pottery and cobalt glass for the jewelry that she likes to make. She picked up this funky looking rock over here.
I see them all the time. I don't know if it's like years of erosion from the water, or like what causes it to do that, or if it's just the type of rock it is.
I don't know. It definitely looks like it's got some iron in it almost too. So any of you guys that are geologists or know anything that are rock hounds, know anything about this stuff, let us know. What kind of rock is this and what caused it to be shaped like that? It does look like it's got an iron band right through the center of it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, in this area they mine for iron ore, so maybe it's iron ore rock. I have no idea. Y'all let us know in the comments below. This right here is really what we're after. We are looking for these guys. That would have been a nice pictorial bottle. Anything with a picture embossed on it is referred to as a pictorial bottle. This would have been a Hutchinson style bottle. They made two different variants. They did make a straight side, but the straight side elk has a much wider neck. So we know that this was a Hutch, and I can't tell if it would have had PBW on the bottom. If it would have been the more common Hutch, which is about a $150 bottle. If it would have been what's called a blank base with nothing embossed on the bottom, it could have been a couple $100 bottle. Regardless, that's a really good sign that there's exactly what we're looking for out here. We just got to uncover it. Here's the find of the day, guys. Only joking. Somebody lost their comb. That one looks like it's got some 60s or 70s style to it. One hole went on the island right here. And sadly, it's a slick, aka,
oh dang it,
it's not embossed, but it is definitely what we're looking for. It is a corker, it is a medicine, and it's hard to say what would have been in there. It could have been anything from castor oil to some kind of funny tonic medicine that was probably mostly alcohol. That right there looks like that's some cheap root glass. You can always tell this stuff the way that it cracks into a million pieces, and that's what it is. That would have been a hobble skirt Coke. And I can tell by the way that it's fluted right around there.
Look at this. Look how thick it is.
Oh yeah, that would have been a wine. That would have been a wine bottom. You're exactly right.
I love that.
This island is absolutely loaded with tons of glass pieces. We're kind of taking our time and poking around.
I'm hoping to find a button or another marble.
Yeah, and this is exactly where we want to look for it, without a doubt. We just talked about it. We're going to bring our metal detectors back to this island right here because it could have some really cool relics on it as well. Well, I said earlier that this was one of the few creeks that doesn't get over waist deep. And just to show you how much a storm will change things, apparently the way that these logs have fell across, it's dammed it up right here in the kind of bend of the creek. And that's a really deep spot right there. That's probably 6 or 7 foot deep right there, believe it or not. And thankfully it's clear enough that I can see all the way to the bottom. And I don't see any bottles, but if I did, you better believe I would dive right down in there to get it. No way that I'm leaving something behind. Makes me wonder though, what may be down there that I can't see that's covered with just a thin line of silt. That's the stuff that blends in really well. And instead of looking for colors at that point, you're looking for shapes, which this is the time of year, if you don't have a trained eye, you're not gonna find very much. You gotta really get adjusted to looking down and picking up stuff that looks like rocks and limbs, because that's what the bottles look like when they're covered with that layer of silt that I was talking about. Wife just picked these up right here.
Colors I don't normally find.
Yeah,
I'm excited to get some earrings out of them.
Yeah, that red color right there is not something we find at all, hardly.
That's pink.
Pink, whatever.
Man, y'all so colorblind.
Yeah, I am colorblind. So fuchsia?
Fuchsia? No. Fuchsia's a little bit more purple.
I wonder what that was. Is that a big picture? Yeah.
That's what I was looking at. I was about to pick it up.
It's the side of a Tito's bottle. I'd recognize that anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Only joking. That's some more deco style glass.
They make the prettiest earrings. If I can get a couple of rectangle pieces out of that.
Oh yeah. What's that one say on the other side?
Ooh.
Whoop, it said Pioneer.
Yeah, it did. I saved it because I wanted it for the Pioneer part. Maybe I can etch it.
Another sandbar find. St. Joseph's assures purity. This is real similar to that one we found earlier that was a slick. It's got a nice layer of pollen on it, that's for sure. That's why I've been sneezing my head off. It's that time of year in Alabama that if you have allergies, you're probably walking around with a box of Kleenex. Just to be honest.
That's like it looks like water.
Oh, I see it. She just picked up some kind of lid.
Looks like a little river or something. Oh, babe, look at this glass.
Oh, that's got beautiful color to it.
Oh, ooh, it's
it
an
was
ink.
Yeah, it was.
That's
I
beautiful.
walked right over that. That's got great color to it.
Uh-huh. That's gonna make some pretty earrings.
Huh. I don't know if that was an ink or not, the way that the top flares out.
Huh.
It's definitely different though. This was probably off of makeup. That right there is to be determined. I don't know what that would have been.
You don't think it like flared out and had a thick rim because all that's itched off?
I don't know, it's possible. It's hard to say.
It's thick, whatever.
I've never
it
seen
was.
one that color with that flared of a lip if it is an ink, but I could be very wrong because I'm not.
We both thought ink though.
Yeah, when I first saw the bottom, it looked like a cone ink without a doubt. This looked just like a shark's tooth. I reached down to pick it up. It's still a really funny shaped rock. You never know when something may have been used by Native Americans for something. And I don't want to be that guy that acts like everything's used, but that's definitely does not look to be like a natural shape to me. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Do you think that may have been something that the Native Americans used? Well, if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed, please be sure that you are. We didn't find a ton today, but some weeks we find some pretty amazing stuff. We did find some history today, and we did take a bunch of broken glass out of the creek. And for those of you that are curious, I know I was kind of tallying up last year. I fell off of doing that this year. But I think we're sitting right around 250 pounds of broken glass removed since January 1st. And a lot of that has been repurposed into whiskey glasses and earrings and creek glass stuff that my wife makes, like bracelets and necklaces and all that kind of stuff. And we always sell that stuff on our eBay store. Our eBay store isn't stocked up currently, but we're working on that now. And the link for the eBay store is always in the description of the video. So guys, like I said, if you're new here and you did enjoy what we do, be sure that you're subscribed, and we'll catch you guys in the next adventure.